back. This is Boomer Life on CIL 650.
'Cause I'm the tax man. Yeah, I'm the tax man.
Welcome to Boomer Life on CIL 650. I'm George Gordon. Today we're talking to Jim Doyle, Senior Financial Consultant with Investors Group Financial Services, Inc. Now, just to let you know a little bit more about Jim and his credentials, he's a CFP, a CLU, a TEP, a CDFA, a CIWM, and most importantly, he has 27 years' experience. As we talked earlier in the show, all of those letters mean that he has gone back time and time again to learn how to better understand the markets, understand long-term investment planning, so that he can help you and give you the absolute best advice. Now, I believe you were a speaker at the Pacific Dental Conference last month, and speaking about one of your favorite subjects, a parent's dilemma in giving your kids a financial head start.
It's something that I'm quite dear about talking about. Succession planning is all the rage in my industry these days. What will happen to the clients I work with if I die? For me, I've got my associate, Paige Brettle, and she's awesome, okay? Now, I got to tell you, though, she tells me this day better not happen anytime soon, okay? And we've been taking steps for Paige to meet everyone that we work with, their families, their kids, their professional advisors, okay? And should that unpleasant day come, I want everyone to know that we work with that the transition should be seamless.
I have had a lot of years invested in my advisor relationship, and if he was gone, I might be in a world of hurt now to ensure my financial future. Maybe I should be taking out an insurance policy on him.
Probably not a bad idea, okay? A U.S. report caught my eye recently, and it was entitled Family Wealth Report, and it broke down America's preparedness and most common trends when it comes to estate planning and inheritance.
Now, as we've heard, talking about money is quite difficult for many families. Talking about estate planning in a family context probably fits right up there with the last taboo.
Families are talking more about money, and we know that the more they talk, the more confident they feel about their future.
It's got to be incredibly hard for families to get that conversation started.
It is. The study shows that most family financial conversations revolve around day-to-day activities, but only half of the families have spoken about the heavy, hard-to-ignore topics.
You have some interesting percentages there, and you're talking about knowledge of these situations, estate planning.
I think 14% of parents say they don't want their kids thinking about death. 19% feel it's not appropriate to discuss, and 25% of people simply haven't thought about it yet.
So what are the primary issues that can come up?
Well, 3/4 of parents tell us that they plan on leaving an inheritance either to their kids or their grandchildren. 18% said that they plan to leave money to some of their siblings. 17% to charity, and yes, even the family pet gets into the action, with 5% leaving funds for their pets.
Really?
Surprisingly enough, this is an increasing trend, and people are putting plans in their wills to provide the resources to look after their beloved pets, providing them the financial means to continue seeing their pets live great lives.
Well, estate plans can definitely help streamline a family's transition, I guess, from one generation to the next.
They can be much more than just about money and possessions. They can also be about the parents and the family's legacy. It can also be about the different stages of life that children and parents go through and how they affect the context in which estate planning takes place.
So if I'm hearing this correctly, once the parents have clarity about their intentions and a greater understanding of how their plans might affect their children, they're in a much better position to move forward confidently and complete their plan with their team of advisors.
As a planner, because our client relationships are often quite deep, one of the things we're really good at is asking the soft questions.
Now, these issues don't seem so soft. I'm happy there's someone like you to help in the process going forward because you know how to gently ask the tough questions.
Well, grown children are often in an excellent position to give parents input and feedback on plans that would ultimately have more impact on the children's lives than that of the parents. More and more baby boomers are becoming involved in the estate planning process, either as grown children or more recently as parents.
So what would you suggest as to when you might want to have these sorts of conversations?
Well, it's definitely age sensitive because estate planning is about the family. The way the planning is carried out needs to change as the family changes. It changes as the fortunes of the family change, and most importantly, it changes with the growth and maturity of the children.
Well, I can get that with the older adult children, but is there a place for younger children at the table?
The primary goal of young parents is quite simple: to protect vulnerable children who may have limited life experience. For estate planning, no. But for money conversations in general, younger children should begin learning about family values and would benefit from exposure to the basic concepts of philanthropy.
Give me one tip that you think most families should hear.
I'd like to encourage families to act now, not to wait for a life-changing event to prompt the discussion. And while this can be a difficult subject for many, the sensitivity does not overshadow the importance of holding such conversations.
So you mean in sickness or a death?
You know, I met with a family recently. We're talking about updating their wills, which they hadn't done for about a decade. Okay, a decade ago, their relationship with their kids, one of their kids, wasn't really that good. Okay, but it's substantially improved since then. It's amazing how much is taken for granted.
Family relationships and dynamics can change over time. We've seen that a lot. Legislation gets updated. It makes sense, I guess, to review your estate plans regularly with your professional advisors and your family.
While parents are ultimately responsible for their estate and philanthropy plans, talking openly with grown children makes enormous sense because these plans are about the children's as much as they are about the parents' situation, and if not more. Okay? Consider talking to a financial professional, an estate planning attorney who can help make a plan that makes sense to you.
So you raise a pretty interesting point. The will is about the beneficiaries, usually your children, inheriting, and they're not usually involved in the process.
Every year, countless siblings find themselves in disputes over how assets are passed between generations. Much of this costly family misery could have been avoided if parents talked openly with their adult children about what they were thinking of doing with their estates, what they hoped to achieve, and how their decisions would affect the entire family.
So viewing estate planning in terms of how it affects the whole family, that's new.
Well, it's not for every family. If I can suggest to look at estate planning as a process that involves the whole family, and to realize that involving grown children in this process can make it more meaningful and more satisfying and more successful.
This has been a fascinating session and a fresh insight on estate planning. If you'd like more information on how a planner can help you with your investment and estate planning needs, you can call Jim or his team at 604-682-5431. By the way, you're going to be hosting an estate planning seminar at the West Vancouver Senior Center. April 26th, starts at 6:30 p.m. Good time to check into that. Also, they can email you at
jim.doyle@investorsgroup.com.
Jim, Paige, thank you very much. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.